Well, joining me now, former Congressman and three-star Navy Admiral Joe Sestak. He served as Director for Defense on the National Security Council under President Bill Clinton and is also running for the Senate in Pennsylvania against Republican incumbent Pat Toomey. Admiral, welcome. Always glad to have you on the broadcast. This Washington Post story, very specifically, sir, calls for points to some drone strikes and says the U.S. government has yet to admit. But in light of what we learned on Thursday, do you think that the administration needs to be more transparent in the use of drones?
Yes, as long as it doesn't reveal classified information. How might we have learned that al-Qaeda person who was alongside the innocent person was discovered to be there? Look, I went on the ground in Afghanistan at the very beginning of the Afghanistan war. I had to report back with a small group to Secretary Rumsfeld. At the beginning, the collateral damage of innocent civilians was quite large, but we had aircraft up there that were dropping less precise munitions. Out of that and other efforts came this emphasis upon drones, where you could actually have a loiter for hours to make sure that you might have near certainty that there will not be clouded. The damage would be so much worse if we did not have the drones that we have today.
So, are you for or against the use of drones?
I am for the use of drones because they do give us the ability to go into places like Afghanistan or Yemen and actually be able to pinpoint someone. Look, I placed a $1 billion destroyer for 4 months out of my battle group when I went for the war in Afghanistan after I came out from that short mission, took a carrier battle group, placed it off Yemen. For 4 months, a $1 billion warship sat there doing nothing but waiting to launch a Tomahawk, a less precise, you might say, drone that would go hundreds of miles in if we could get the intelligence that a certain operative, which we knew was there, had placed himself in a certain position. After that, we gave up. Years later, we got him because of a drone. And I believe on that one, no collateral damage, where the Tomahawk would have had collateral damage, probably.
Yeah. So then the New York Times made an article. It pointed out that years of American drone strikes have really diminished the upper ranks of al-Qaeda, particularly in the Pakistan area. So for that reason alone, does that validate the drone program?
It validates it if the benefits are worth more than the cost. And the answer is yes. We could not have gotten into Pakistan. Now, part of the reason we're being successful today is Pakistan has finally woken up and said that monster we created over the years, that they supported al-Qaeda and the Taliban, has suddenly turned on it, and it is driving into those regions, those tribal regions. So that's helping us a lot because it's keeping them on the run. But no, I support drone warfare if the rules of engagement, like when I came out of Afghanistan to try to say here's a better way to do it, if they're more clearly followed. And we need an investigation on this last one to see if they have been.
I want to talk about Iran right now, because we talked about the fact that you commanded a carrier strike group, and this was in the Persian back in 2002. I want to talk about the op-ed piece that you wrote on Iran's nuclear deal this week. The framework agreement could potentially be much more lasting, 15 years or more. If a final, absolutely verifiable deal is achieved, it will result in a safer America, a more secure Israel, and a more stable Middle East, free from a nuclear arms race. How achievable is that, though, when you still see the leaders of Iran allowing for and calling for the chance of death to Israel, death to America, as we've seen just this last week in marches?
Yes. You're too young to remember Nikita Khrushchev when he went to the UN and took his shoe and said, "We will bury you, America." And yet, presidents from Nixon to Reagan did salt and start treaties with them because we have to verify before we trust. So unless we're able to have TV on target 24 hours a day in that enrichment facility that's buried under 300 feet of rock, that we can go in surprising sections to verify that what we think might happen, that they will stop having the ability in 30 days from now to have a fissile material that could explode in a nuclear way, that they will be set back 1 year. Does that not enhance our security if we can verify that?
Yeah, good point. Let's go to politics now. I want to talk about the different reports with regard to the money donated to the Clinton Foundation, also money coming in from foreign sources during Hillary Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State. What is your greatest concern about this? Is there anything that you feel that has been untoward or that has either violated law or a certain morality code?
I think Secretary Clinton is going to be a great president. But my biggest concern of this, as well as the drone strike you talked about, is transparency. Will you tell us exactly, as Chelsea Clinton has just said, let's go back, let's open the books, let's make sure all those transactions that might have been reported but weren't are open, and then lay down strict rules like was initially had with the Obama administration, that anything that does come in from foreign government no longer will be accepted. I think that's my only issue, and I think she'll step right up to the plate and do it. Because trust is the biggest deficit in America today, and not the national debt, and that's why transparency is important.
And so the fact that there are IRS filings that are being pulled and refiled, I mean, do you concern this is going to be sort of a piling on effect and people won't forget this? I mean, 30 days from now, is this what we're still going to be talking about?
Well, this is the season for everybody on opposite sides making anything about nothing. This may be something. I don't think so. But yes, I think they should go back and find out those IRS filings and find out exactly what did happen. And if it wasn't properly reported, do so. Look, Americans want to trust again. And I think Secretary Clinton wants to serve them well. And I think this is the most important thing that can be done in this issue.
Okay, former Representative Joe Sestak and current senatorial candidate Joe Sestak, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.